quite crazy at the moment.
How does it sound with the, does it feed back when you have it in there?
There's like two settings on these. One, the high end
podcast setting?
There. Go ahead and talk a little bit.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
So you have your ear, that's for your, do you have bad hearing or?
Oh yeah. I played drums since I was 18.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I'm deaf.
Okay.
Totally.
Yeah.
At work, like there was one morning when he walked in, he's like, "Good morning," and I said, "Good morning," but he didn't ever heard me, and he's like, "What? No good morning?" I'm like, "No, I said good morning," and he's like, "Oh, I didn't have my hearing aid in yet." So
yeah, I just started a job, and my boss actually he has I think just one ear, and he has one of those, but he didn't really tell me at first, but you know, he was like every time you ask him something or talk to him, he's like, "What?
Huh? What? Yeah."
Huh?
And then finally I realized because sometimes I think I don't pronunciate enough, you know, especially for him I have to like realize I need to like.
Does he read lips a little bit too?
I don't think he's that deaf or he needs to read lips, but
What's that
you
thing
know,
you
especially
wear?
with the masks is
Oh,
hard.
the Bluetooth.
Okay, so it does really have Bluetooth, and you can dial in settings like your phone rings.
Listen to your phone, answer your phone off it. It's
I want one.
actually pretty high tech. Yeah.
Does it have like the wife setting, like where you
No, not
kids,
yet.
kids or
They said they'd come up with that soon, but
my dad asked for that one when he got his. He's like, "How can I block her out?" So
yeah, that's a tough one.
yeah,
That's called take them both off. Just say, yeah.
Do you still play drums or?
I still play for fun.
Yeah.
I got tired of hauling equipment around. I'm 65 now,
Yeah.
and
Oh, so you did like shows or gigs?
oh yeah,
and stuff.
my last thing was probably 13 years of corporate type of music, corporate rock. Played some really good gigs, and but I got tired of playing them songs too. You know,
What's corporate rock?
you play whatever the people want.
So like
you're
top
playing-
40, whatever.
You're playing for
Rests.
big events like Toyota or something, and they'll have a certain sound of music they want, and then you'll have little sub things before the show where you play little 3-piece jazz in a lobby, an acoustic set in another lobby, and during their awards, you get up there, you play little stings as they come up to get their awards and cut out and pick it back up. It's a lot of work.
So did you tour with that or
I'd
a
say,
little bit?
would you call that touring?
I
little short tours? Like
Little weekend things.
yeah, like here and there.
I've worked with Joe over 12 to 15 years
Yeah.
in two different stints, and I did the website for you guys back in the day,
right.
and they were called The Exceptions, and full like female backup singers,
Oh, wow.
full costume. The Ray, like
Ray, yeah, head man.
very rich, very like accredited home lenders rich, like he was mortgage baron, very.
At the right time.
Mortgage Baron Rich.
At the right
I want to be
time.
Mortgage Baron Rich.
What's that Beatles item he had?
Oh, he's got the.
And that's yours, right? It'll be.
If he dies, it goes to me. It's in the will.
What was it?
It's a Sergeant Pepper picture, actually signed by them, given to him. It's one of them.
No way.
Yeah, it's the original. It's all legit.
Wow.
And, I always tell him, when you die, I want that. He goes, okay, but it goes back to the family when you die.
Wow.
Come get it. I really won't care at that point. But
You don't know what Beatle gave it to him?
not much. I forget. I ain't been there in a while, but I'm due to go back over and take a look at it.
Yeah.
I've threatened to go, but COVID kind of made us all quit touring with our friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm ready to start back up.
What kind of drum sets have you had?
Oh, the last two I sold were DW sets,
Okay.
and one's a beautiful custom green to yellow fade, just absolutely gorgeous set. And then I picked up another set after that, a gold sparkle, and that was probably my favorite set.
Nice.
And I bought everything you could buy, the best of everything, the best cymbals, the best pedals. Not that I was worthy of all this,
Yeah.
but
Hey, if you can.
He donated our hi-hat in our band.
Oh, okay.
With compliments of Joe and a beautiful giant ride, like just pretty cool
Nice.
thing. And he acquired my, what is that drum called?
Djembe?
Djembe, yeah. So I swapped him that. So
Which I play
Drum for
quite
drum.
often. I play it just to walk by it in my house, like
nice.
get a couple things in.
And another musical connection, his grandson has your beautiful banjo
Oh, good. Yeah. Awesome.
from.
Oh, that's what I came down the line from there, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I did
Yeah, I
not
was
know.
just sitting in my garage, just collecting dust,
Yep.
and then
Through Wes, through Joey,
yeah,
the connections are
And-
made.
Your instrument is
I play guitar.
just guitar,
hmm
bass, guitar, everything.
Yeah, I mean mostly guitar, but I can noodle on other things. But I tried to play drums for a while. I had a DW, or a Pacific.
Pacific.
It's like the Squire of DW, but
It's okay.
it actually burned up in a fire. This is a long story, but I was never that good though.
didn't
I
know
can't play drums to save my life, but I actually wanted to play drums since I was like 4 or 5 years old. I asked for Christmas. I was like, I want a drum set. And my mom was like, well, that's too loud. So here, you can play guitar.
And you just got your kind of your dream guitar and amp last year, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
What'd you get?
What are they again?
G&L. I got a G&L. It's basically the real, G&L are at the store, like get Fender, Leo Fender, and they sold Fender back in the day. And then their contract was when they sold it to, I want to say it's like ABC or something like that. I might have that wrong. But in the early 60s, they sold Fender to them. And then part of the contract was Leo Fender was not able to make guitars. I'm probably butchering this. But for so many
Licensing
years,
thing.
it was like a licensing thing. That's why, so he made Music Man.
Okay.
And so that's
Yep.
why they made amps and basses mostly for a long time. And then when they were able to make guitars, they made G&L. And so it's basically like a Fender.
Never knew that.
It's a Fender Jazzmaster, but like almost like a newer kind of updated
You
version.
dig it or what?
Oh, it's my favorite guitar ever. It's my favorite guitar I've ever picked up. I love it so much.
Cool.
I mean, my daughter gives me crap because you look at my phone, it's not,
It's not her on it.
no, it's my guitar.
That's when he got it. I asked, like, are you sleeping with it? And it's actually right next to his bed.
Nope, I sleep next to it.
Yeah.
In reach.
And then I have a Music Man HD 130 head, like little half stack.
Is that a
So that's
vintage?
like
That's pretty vintage.
It's a 77.
right? Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's
It's a tube. Well,
hard to
it's
come by
actually-
stuff, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, it's it's one of those things like people, if you know, you know. It's like Fender is big, but it's almost like, to me, that's like the real Fender, if you know like the history of it. And then my guitar actually even came with a certificate because Gordon died, and they still have, I guess, the factory at like Fullerton, California, his like desk and like his little workspace. Because I mean, the guy was like a master engineer. To like the day he died, he was just like tinkering with things, trying to figure out new ways to wind pickups and all this stuff. Like
Yeah.
I love geeking out on this stuff.
Nice.
And my guitar actually came with a certificate signed by his wife, saying like certificate of authenticity.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Right on.
There you go.
yeah.
Yeah. So all of us, our music history, it goes probably as back to when we were kids. But another connection too, like I know you as a sign man, so, and I'm a sign man now too, I guess. But we always seem to we cross paths in music, and I was really really drawn to one of your recent your recent calling.
Yeah.
But I wanted to kind of, before I go into that, I wanted to preface it with, like, what are some of your earlier callings? Like, you told me a train trip story, or like a peyote eating button. Yeah, I don't quite remember the peyote one.
Yeah. That
Oh,
was,
you mean like drug calling? Is that what you're
Yeah.
trying- Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
my earlier calling
Yeah.
was
Tell us some of your psychedelic stories.
when I was like 17, 18. LSD and I got together pretty well and got into the Who Quadrophenia album. And Keith Moon's drumming just freaking blew me away. I mean, I had to play drums after listening to this.
Is that where quadraphonic sound came from?
I'm not sure if that's where that came from. I think it's more the story Quadrophenia,
Okay.
the stories in it. But I don't know if you guys are familiar with that album at all. The drumming is just
What songs are on it?
515 would be one you hear on the radio.
Okay.
It's extremely aggressive, crazy drumming. And,
Okay.
I mean, just giant thunder rolls that are, he's got like a Neil Peart sized set, but he plays it like a wild man. But that's what got me into drumming.
And who was that? Was Keith Moon or who?
Keith Moon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they called him crazy, but there was more to him than crazy. He was the one.
Is it true that the Who invented distortion because they got crazy one time and Pete Townsend, I don't know, this is what I heard. He put his guitar through an amplifier to the cone and it made like a more distorted sound. And they told some engineer, they're like, we want you to make this. Or is that just kind of
I would think he would have created that distortion from throwing his guitar through the speaker to get the distorted sound. Yeah. But it's possible.
Yeah.
I thought distortion was around before that.
I don't know.
Like when, like the...
the amps were probably so kiddie back then. It just
that's what I mean.
Turning it all the way up, probably. But,
yeah.
You know.
So how many times did you see the Who live then?
Never seen them live. It was lottery to get tickets to see Quadrophenia. Yeah, my friends got it. They won. No, they did not take me, of course. It was very hard to get in.
So I always had a theory back in the day because I grew up on my mom's record collection, and I loved how like you can always reverse the records. And I always thought with the drugs of that time, and then being able to do that and then slow down records, to me it seemed like that's what everyone like. It kind of just framed that era for me. So. What do you hear over there?
Oh, nothing.
Got a headache.
I grew up in a jazz household. My dad was an alto sax player, and his idol was Charlie Parker. I don't know if you guys ever heard of Charlie Parker. He was like the Jimi Hendrix of saxophone back then, and that was his idol. And I grew up watching him play when I was 3-4 years old, watching his bands. And he had a bar. Our house was built onto a bar. So he had his gig whenever he wanted it. And I've seen him play since I was a tiny kid growing up. And when I started playing drums, he started dragging me out after the bar would close to go to the jazz bars where he would sit in and play. And he would make me get up there and play with these guys. And I am not a qualified jazz drummer, so they'd play something a little more shuffly, like Kansas City stuff, and make me play. But he'd wake me up. I remember like 12:30 at night, waking up, Joe, get up. What? Go to the grapevine. Get in the car and go. He played at like 4:35 in the morning.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
You grew up in like Chicago?
In Chicago, south suburbs of Chicago. Wow. And,
that must have seen some shit there. Yeah.
It wasn't that bad then. I mean,
no, but it's the music scene. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, my first live performance, I think, that played with the band. I went to a south suburb club called the Pink Cloud, and it was a black blues bar. And they had said jam session, everyone welcome. My sister found it. So we drove down to her and I. Only 2 white people in there. What are you doing here? I want to sit in. I was already there. I didn't care, Let's do it. And I got in there, and apparently I could play a shuffle beat. And they all came over. They all bought me shots and beers. And it was you're brave just to come in here, for one. And then you come here and you can play. So that was a pretty big memory.
And that set the course.
Which I haven't thought about in a while. Thanks for making me dig in a little.
Yeah.
What year was that?
That would be probably 75.
Wow.
74.
Wasn't even born yet.
Thanks, guys.
Well, no.
It's probably such a great
that's
time.
That's the goal.
Music.
It was.
Yeah.
It was special music, special time.
Yeah.
I'm glad to have grown up in that era.
Yeah. That would have been cool.
See the things that went down, and things are different.
A lot different. Yeah. So do you have a memorable LSD experience, or you said something to me at one time about hopping on a train?
Yeah, when I first moved out to California in 76, October 75, I think. First year I went back to Chicago for Christmas, I took the train back. So it's like a 48-hour train ride. I didn't have much to do. So
I got 12 hours to kill.
Popped a little acid.
Yeah.
Got out my Don Juan book.
Uh-huh.
Can't remember which one of the ones. I think it's like the third one.
Okay.
And read that. And I was also bringing weed back. I brought like a couple pounds of weed in my suitcase. Well, I guess it was okay to do that then.
Oh, wow.
There was no fear. You come out to California, you buy a kilo. It's just like everyone had it.
Wow.
Brought that and then had some amyl nitrate.
Okay, I've heard about that. That was Hunter S. Thompson's big.
You take a whiff, put it back in a bottle, and just You go out for about a minute.
What was it? The lawyer? He's like, I need a doctor. I gotta. He was telling
the Fear and
who was the
Loathing?
kid in the car.
Is this
Fear
it
and
where the
Loathing?
buffaloes roam, or
Fear and Loathing.
Loathing. Tobey Maguire in the back
That's
of the
right.
car. He's like, he's got a heart issue. And then they're all, what are you doing here? Where are we?
Yeah, that's crazy.
different times? Wow.
Yeah.
Mescaline was very popular back then.
So I've asked a few people, like Mike. Mike's told me what did yours look like?
The
'Cause
acid?
Well, no, your mescaline
The
experience.
mescaline were most of them were blue or purple, little small little tabs, not tab, little
Really?
pill shape.
Pills.
Actually, this is a funny story because I had them. Apparently, they fell out of my little case or out of my pocket one night when I came home, when I was still living at home, and my mom found them. And my brother told me, Mom found your acid. I go, oh, fuck, now what? So I come home, she goes, I raised pigeons at the time. I was a pigeon fancier.
No way.
She
Oh,
goes,
cool.
I found your pigeon pills. I go, oh, I couldn't know what I did with them. She gives them back to me. Had no clue what it was.
Pigeon pills.
Because she knows I was buying medicine for them when they get sick.
Yeah.
Oh,
This or that, or cod liver oil. I
Well,
put
good thing she didn't try to feed it to them.
yeah, good.
I gave your pigeons their pills.
So I made the first full circle back to my hand, and out to the street.
so is that what was it like carrier pigeons, or were they for
racing pigeons?
racing?
Yeah,
Wow.
that was one of my earlier hobbies in life.
Wow.
You know who was into that too is
Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He really
that
loves
was his
her.
first fight, is because somebody fucked with his pigeons.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
nice.
And then he even had that cartoon where
His mystery with like Scooby Doo.
yeah, but what was the guy that played the pigeon voice? It was Kevin McDonald, right?
I'm
Or
not
not
sure.
Kevin McDonald. I can't.
Kevin Hart.
No.
Or no.
Anyways. But that's cool. So, but how much mescaline do you have to take? You just take like do you
One-
know like the dosage, or I've never actually
one or
even,
two. They were just small, like a half of aspirin maybe size. I
Wow.
remember being round on both ends, almost a little bit oval.
Okay.
Oh,
I remember a lot of purple and blue were the colors, it seemed like back then.
that's crazy. And you also told me Quaaludes.
Oh yeah, those are nasty. There was a big party lake out there back in Illinois called Wampum Lake, and it was just lined up with young kids, both sides of the street, and somebody was always selling Quaaludes because you could see them coming. And people would buy this shit up and just get stupid. I mean, trump, strip, fall, crack their heads open, throw beers, and horrible thing. I actually tried it before, and I tried I can't remember what the other thing was, the animal tranquilizer,
PCP.
Ketamine?
PCP.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think they called it something else then.
They call it a peace pill, right?
And I was just like an elephant that got shot with a dart, man. I was trying to run through the woods, fucking falling down, couldn't stand up. Somebody had to take care of me. So I didn't never acquire a taste for that.
I used to work with this Cholo guy, and he said here in Escondido, like back when he was younger, they would do a lot of PCP, except they called it like Sherm or something like that. He actually had a vial. Remember, I think I told you about that.
Dipped in
I
a
kept
cigarette,
bugging you
right?
about that. He was like, yeah, I'll even buy I didn't even know that Sherm meant they buy it's a brand of cigarettes, like the Sherm cigarettes, and then they dip it.
Yeah.
But he was like, yeah, I'll sell you one. And I was trying to talk this guy into it.
No,
But
thank you.
He was telling me the story where the police came when they were at some park. I think the one not far from here. And he said that they all ran away. And then his friend was like running in place. He said he wasn't even moving. He was just going like this. And then the cops just like slowly walked up to him and put their arms on his shoulder. Like, hey, son. He said they were like 16, 17. Like, come on.
No way.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Because I've been there.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
would like to try amyl nitrate. What does that feel like?
It was just
No. Oh.
real. What I remember is
Hey,
like
speak for yourself, buddy.
a minute,
Well, no. I was.
minute or two of just
Yeah. Well, you can buy them. I don't
Still?
know about in California, but I was telling Joe about this. Those are actually like, they're very big in the sex community.
Oh, yeah?
They sell them in like they look like your little energy shots.
Uh-huh.
And you crack the top and you just put them in your nostril.
Yeah.
And they're for like the second you orgasm.
Yeah.
And there's also like, it's supposed to help with your erection and like for gay sex.
Well,
and shit,
that
too.
was that
Yeah.
movie about what was his name? That famous gay start with an L piano player guy.
Elton John.
Liberace.
Oh, Liberace.
Did you see that? It was like
That's where Michael Douglas played.
Michael Douglas played him, and then
Yeah.
Marky Mark, right, was his like boyfriend that he like paid to
really?
have surgery to like look like him. But
I
that
did
was
not
one of the
notice.
scenes where they're having like gay sex, and he had like this little box, and then like every time he'd be like doing amyl nitrates.
Yeah.
But I guess it used to be legal, right?
You can order them online.
Still?
Like
Probably not in California.
not. It's like the bath salt thing where it's like not for human consumption.
Mhm.
This is to clean your fish tank or
Yeah.
something like that. And
To clean your fish tank.
Like fentanyl, right?
yeah, or yeah, and who knows nowadays? But yeah, so much different times. So
Was ether legal? Did you ever try ether? Wasn't that legal at one time?
Never had an opportunity.
Okay.
so that was in your 20s or
More so 20s, yeah.
20s. Okay. And then, recently you've tried a little bit of microdosing with some mushrooms.
Yes.
And you go fishing with Joey, and that's
Well, yeah, went
what do you think
fishing.
of that?
I actually, first time I think I went down to that art show they had in San Diego, Wonder Spaces.
That was cool.
That was kind of
Yeah.
that was a fun day.
Interactive exhibits,
Yeah.
and you took some of the pills I gave you, right?
Those are the ones.
Yeah.
Those are the ones. I probably could have took some more. Probably could have did maybe double what I took. I
How
think I
much
took
was in
2.
those?
They're my half gram.
Oh, they were half grams?
Yeah.
Well, that's a little more than a microdose, though.
Yeah, it's
I think isn't a microdose supposed to be like 0.25?
it's
mushrooms?
supposed to be
That's
low
quarter
enough
of a
that you
gram.
don't feel it.
Yeah.
So I'll call it a macro dose.
A half gram I could feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, depending on how you ground it and pack it, it was like 0.3 to
Mhm.
0.5.
Yeah.
So, but they're work safe.
I think so.
Yeah, one pill is work safe.
I
So,
went to court one time and I took a micro, well, I thought it was a microdose. Turned out to be not so micro. That was an interesting experience. And then I was just like, you know what? Because there's, you take the number and you had to wait for a long, long time
when did you take it?
before I left my house.
Oh, good plan.
Oh, you thought it would just make you focus and
Yeah.
chill.
I mean, I knew I was going to have to wait for a long time, so I figured, why not? And then all I had to do was go, to the counter and fill out some stuff. But it was like 3-4 hour wait. And then I was sitting there just like sweating. And you see all the police, sheriff guys. And I really felt like the guy was like looking at me when I was going through the security.
Of course.
And so I kind of freaked out a little bit and I left. I was like, you know what? Fuck this. And it would have been bad, actually. If I didn't come back, then I probably would have gotten a warrant and all this stuff, right? And then so I came back and, from Vista to here, right? And then so I'm like hanging out at my house. And then finally I was like, you know what? Like, I think it kind of went down a little bit. And I was like, I better just go back. And so I drove all the way back to Vista. I swear to God.
They didn't even call you yet?
I walked through the security, went through the metal detector, and they said my name. And I literally walked through the security and right up to the
That's
counter.
in tune with the universe.
Yeah.
That really is. That's awesome.
That's a synchronicity. Accept it. And was the verdict is this something you would?
Yeah, I would have had a warrant if I didn't go.
Oh, okay.
That's what they told me.
Good job.
Good job, mushrooms.
I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of experiences like that for sure.
So you're coming up on what do you think, I don't even know how to frame it. So how did you even find out about this thing that we're going to be talking about here? Did you find out about ayahuasca from Brenda?
I heard you and her.
You heard rumors.
You and her actually talk about it a little bit.
Okay.
And I really wasn't familiar with what it was.
Okay.
I think I asked you a little bit and you told me a little bit. And then she told me she's going to need a couple days to go do this. I said, what are you doing? And then she explained to me what it was and I started getting a little interested in it.
And did you watch anything online?
I did. I started checking into it a little bit because she was doing the ayahuasca and the Cambo. So I started studying up on both of them and seeing what it was about.
And Cambo, that's the one with the frog where they
so
they kind of they poke it a little bit and it
have you
secretes.
have you
They
decided
actually
where?
put little burns.
Oh, so you did that too?
Well, I haven't did mine yet.
He's getting ready to do this.
Oh, okay, I got it.
I'm coming up.
This is he's already preparing his diet, his mind.
Do you have a date set already?
I'm waiting for my passport.
Got it.
As soon as my passport comes through, I had to renew it. It's 4 to
backlog.
8 weeks, who knows.
Yeah.
And they told you the diet and everything? Or is it-
They have a complete diet to actually do before. I've just changed my diet anyway. I'm trying. I don't know. I just feel like I'm living a little bit better right now.
yeah.
A little more spiritual. When Brenda came back, she had a message for me, and it was from my mom, and it blew my ass away. I'm still shocked by it, and I could feel her energy from here to Jason away. I really first time I ever felt energy like that, and it was very enlightening to me. And then she told me a story, and she had me in tears. I had tears coming down my face, and I've never been lit up like that, and I've been lit up ever since. I've been feeling different things spiritually. I'm getting away from TV. I don't feel like watching it. I feel like being outside. I'm feeling things, trees, and it's a spiritual awakening. And I'm reading up on that, and it's not all that either. There's some bad days in there. There's a little bit of depression that comes with it,
Yeah.
but all overall, it's a new way of feeling and being, and I'm really excited about it.
I've heard that a lot, though. People that go down, there to Peru or whatever to do it, and once they set the intention to do it, there's all these synchronicities that start happening. And it's almost like the trip starts like before you even take the drug.
Yeah, mine has started big time before I've taken it, and I'm trying to get a lot more positive and be more positive and not argue and let go of things that I have carried on. I'm known to be pretty crabby. Am I right or wrong?
Well, on Mondays, you see your high, and then depending on who's around, like you see you taper off midweek.
Get
and
beat
you're just,
down.
Yeah.
But I'm really working on not letting things bother me like they did. And
I introduced him to him a while back, the 4-7-8 breathing.
oh yeah,
And
Yeah.
he's into, what's the real name? Skeet or
sporting clays.
sporting clays, like with shotguns. And he
fun.
started doing that, the Andrew Weil breathe in,
Mm-hmm.
long 4,
Yeah.
hold for 7,
I was just doing that last night.
exhale for 8.
Yeah.
And I'm halfway in between that breathe book.
I finished it.
Yeah.
I've been
James,
telling everybody that would
Yeah.
listen about it. I won't shut up about it.
I've been breathing through my nose for 2 days,
So
trying to constantly.
apparently,
So
Hard, huh?
Well, it's because we get lazy. But your nose is supposed to be doing all the work. It's the first sentence in the Tao Te Ching.
well, apparently everybody knew this until
It's
not that
old-
long ago.
old knowledge.
Even in Mexico, did you read that part where like school kids in Mexico, like not even that long ago, would get slapped over the head for mouth breathing? And I
Yeah.
would say that's disgusting. Don't do that.
Fossil records show American Indians, Africans, all having perfect teeth. And it's really, they never go to a dentist. It has, like, the way you breathe
Yeah.
and our shitty diet
Yeah, it's also like chewing.
is resulting
actually
in
chew
our
on things.
mouth shrinking. And there's about the size of your fist, there's a special cavity in your sinus that has all kinds of sense organs and all kinds of stuff. Like, we're supposed to be breathing in through our nose. It metabolizes, like, it absorbs 18% more oxygen. Our mouth is just there to basically eat and probably just have sex or something. Like it's
Well, that's funny. Your nose is actually a sexual organ.
oh, that's
get to
okay.
that part?
Yeah.
Go
So your
ahead.
nose, the blood vessels in your nose are the same that are in your penis. So they actually get they engorge.
Hey, don't be sexist. Also, your clitoris.
You're right.
Happen to have a clitoris.
You're
okay?
right. I missed that. And your nose every 30 minutes to 4 hours it cycles. It actually, your brain, it closes. So like there's your right nostril and your left nostril have 2 distinct mechanisms that they've known about in yoga, in pranayama, and we're just relearning this all again. So
And what I've realized too, because at the end of the book, I don't know about if you actually read it, because you're actually reading it, right?
I downloaded the audiobook.
Okay. Well, on the audiobook at the end, the guy that he keeps talking about in, I guess, Stanford, he does like walks you through all these breathing techniques.
Nice.
And so one of them is you hold your nose like this and you breathe in through one nostril, you hold it, breathe out, and then hold it, and then you swap and go back and
Mhm.
forth. But I realized, because he said like one side of your nostril apparently will make you like up, and then the other side will actually
Brings
bring you down,
Oh,
which is fucking trippy. But they said that they followed a schizophrenic lady, and
Yeah.
after a while they realized, like a couple years, they followed her breathing, and they realized that she had one side of her nose stuffed up. And then they literally, just by changing her nose breathing pattern, they actually fixed her schizophrenia. Just
I
gone.
wonder if they could fix mine.
And then also like they were giving schizophrenics like CO2. Like the whole really the whole premise of the book at the end is not, you think of oxygen as being so important, but
the CO2 is it's a balance.
CO2 is more important
Mhm.
than oxygen, which is really trippy.
And we're actually breathing too much.
They were
Like
giving
it's-
people CO2 straight out of the tank. And schizophrenics were saying that was the first time they ever had like a clear mind just from straight CO2.
And do you know that feeling, like if say you dive in the water and then you have like you panic and you feel like you're going to run out of air? That's not you're running out of oxygen. That's actually you have CO2. You can go like David Blaine has gone 18 minutes. Deep what do they call them?
Freediving. I actually
Freedivers.
looked into a course.
Yeah.
There's what you should do it with me, Jason. It's in San Diego, and it's $395.
How many
And-
times?
I think you go into the pool like 2 times, and they teach you how to do it. And then you go into the ocean, and they bring you down. They said your first time, unless you have like a medical condition or you're not very healthy, you could go down to 30 feet.
How many minutes
and back.
underwater though? Like it takes time. Like it takes several weeks for you to get up to like 8 minutes or something.
Yeah, I don't know. But they said, 30 feet at first, and then it's possible to go down 60 feet plus on one breath. And then there's some people that go even more, like over 100 feet and then back on one breath. It's insane.
So these breathing techniques are actually very, very big in the ayahuasca as well. Like I've heard the Americans that go down there have the breathing techniques, but then in the Peruvian shamans, they do like a whistling and an Icaro sound. Like that's why I'm really curious what do they call it? What faction or what church you're going to actually be going to? Because one thing Brenda brought up was this was a daytime ceremony.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's outside daytime.
yeah,
In a high energy place.
a lot of dancing.
I think they actually play the music.
Okay.
I don't think they have chanters or people that chant. They have a doctor that does a cambo and the rape.
What's rape?
Rape is a tobacco snuff,
yeah.
and they'll shoot it up your nose. But there's also yopo.
Yopo.
Yopo
they do that
is
as well.
potentially it's a blend of
Oh, that's like a DMT, blend.
DMT, potentially also with
5-MeO DMT too, right?
that, but it also has the angel's trumpet, the datura, possibly as well.
Oof.
It's a shaman blend. I was looking up the combo, and I thought it was funny. The name of the frog, like the Latin name, is called Philium medusa. Okay, but the nickname is the waxy monkey frog.
It's a trippy looking frog.
Yeah, and scientifically, what you're actually squirting into you, they're opioids.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's supposed to be like an opiate effect, right?
Opioid peptides, and your body does like it's a really deep detox purge. So, do you do that prior?
They do that first.
So that's
I think you do the rape, and then they burn the little holes in you and put the frog juice or whatever it is.
Yeah,
Frog scrapings.
I think it's like kind of a purge.
Oh, you have
part of
to
it.
you have to drink 1.5 liters of water before they'll even put the holes in you.
Yeah, because I think
It's
that's
heavy
like
on your
don't dry
kidneys.
heave.
Yeah, like,
And it's right now. It's it's right now.
have you chosen where you're going to scar up your left side?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's where I visualized it. And I think that's where it needs to go. I don't know if it's my choice when I get there or not.
And what are some intentions? Like, what are you searching for with this?
Well, just getting up in my age, 65, now I'm thinking about life after death and starting to think more. I want to know more about it instead of just waiting. And I believe there's more out there, and these things coming to me are making me feel that it's out there, and I'm just searching to feel it. I want to know there's something there.
Is that? Oh. Have you ever tried DMT? Like
I have not.
smokable?
We've talked about it.
I teased it to him. I didn't know if it was ready, but I think he's serious now.
I really wonder how
find it.
close it. I mean, even though chemically it's very similar, I mean, from what I hear, it's completely different as far as the ayahuasca to DMT.
Yes. And depending on how they're making their brew, you're getting a cocktail. And I think some of the DMT that we've had, it's pharmacological, it's chemistry. it's chemically made. It's not extracted from mimosa. It's not toad. We're dealing with what is it? NN5 or NN?
NN.
Yeah. And then what you're getting is like a complex.
Well, it's probably extracted from mimosa usually, but it's it's isolated DMT or close to it.
Is it 5-MeO?
No, 5-MeO is the one that comes
That's
from
the
the
only
toad.
thing.
That's the Sonoran desert toad, but you can also get that chemically extracted too.
But in the ayahuasca, it's just going to be the NN.
That's NN, yeah. Yeah, they said with the 5-MeO actually, because remember that thing where they said, DMT's naturally, it's an endogenous brain chemical, so it's already in your brain. And they think that the theory is I don't know if they've actually been able to prove this, is that it's in your pineal gland, which is supposed to be like your third eye. I don't think they've been able to prove that, or that's been kind of inconclusive.
Hamilton's
But that's
been
the
searching,
theory that when you die, that's kind of what happens. Is there's
It
just
releases.
a big
That's
release
that's
of
why
it.
I understand it.
And that's why it's so interesting that all these things, like you hear stories, people do ayahuasca and they're in the circle and they have like this group experience. And where like they didn't even talk during the ceremony, but then after they know things that, happen
From other,
that they couldn't have possibly known because they
Yes.
never talked about it until right then. So and what was it they actually, when they first discovered it, they wanted to call it something, it was
telepthium or
telepthium or telepathin.
Yeah, it was something because you have this, you connect without speaking, like, and you're in some sort of, we're talking about ayahuasca, right?
Yes.
Okay. Because when you smoke the DMT, in my experience, like it's just way too fast. So your ayahuasca is supposed to be a slower, drawn out experience. And I haven't done it, so I'm fascinated.
well, a lot of things I'm reading about it, your experience be long as the mother ayahuasca wants it to be. She has the lesson for you. You don't have the lesson for her.
Right.
So you're getting what they want to bring you.
And have you seen
And it might be short, it might be long.
and you've seen the bad side of it too, though, right? Like repeated death, like you die in your mind over and over and over and over, and then only to be reborn. But that's actually the good part of it. So it's not all bliss and glory. Brenda shared that too, right?
She had some dark stuff that she really didn't even want to talk about.
Yeah. So her father did it too, and Ricardo,
He's gone twice.
that's hilarious, man.
And the attitude turnaround in both of them is 100%. She had migraines. She was bipolar. And she quit all her medications. She lost her headaches. Her attitude changed. Ricardo, you can't make him mad right now. You know the temper he has.
Ricardo, he won't hurt a single animal now.
No.
Like he was like ants. He has only been eating vegetarian for months. I used to think he was a pretty bad alcoholic.
Yeah, real
And
bad.
He's a different person now.
Different, 100%.
Does he still drink?
No, he's done drinking.
So he went down there, did ayahuasca, and just said,
Well, he stopped prior because of the diet
Because
they
the diet.
request.
He was had real high blood pressure. He had terrible headaches. I made Brenda actually get him to a doctor because I thought he's going to die in the shop because he's losing his vision when he's getting angry and get the headaches. And I was really concerned for his welfare. And they started working on his medications, and he never did get fixed right. I even brought a blood pressure measure checking machine for him, and his blood pressure was all over the place.
and has he had it checked since?
I don't know
did
about the blood
ceremony?
pressure, but his physical mannerisms and just his overall vibe at the shop. And when I actually talked to him about it, it just spilled out of him.
He lights up.
Like he's into chakras, and never heard him talk like the fractal connection between a grain of sand, the sun, the universe. The time doesn't exist anymore. I'm like, what, Ricardo, dude?
He goes off.
What the hell?
Does he say things like "as above, so below"?
He wants to go to Burning Man, stuff like that. No, I'm just.
He's becoming a yoga teacher.
Yeah.
No, I've been doing the meditation too, the chakra meditation, and I really like it. It relaxes me 100%, and I'm starting to feel this energy through my body when I'm done doing it.
What's the difference between chakra meditation and just regular meditation?
Well, the only meditation I guess I really learned was the chakra one. So you got 7 chakras,
right? And
you go to each one with a color and a purpose, and you breathe it, you feel it, and you give yourself self-information.
So you just kind of visually go through the chakras and visualize.
Yeah, I'll go all the way up to the top of your head.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, well, because I meditate, and I've heard that technique before, where you just kind of check in with your body, and you just kind of ask yourself, what do you feel? Do you feel your hands? Do you feel your feet? Or you just try to work your way up.
Yeah, I started with a walkthrough. You start with your bottom chakra or your root. You visualize a red glowing energy. You feel it. You feel yourself connect to the earth. Then you move up to your next one, the orange one. Then yellow is your solar plexus. Green is your heart. Sky blue is your throat. Indigo would be your third eye. And then violet would be your crown. And now I'm starting to see the colors when I'm done meditating. I'm starting to see the colors with my eyes closed. And
how long have you been doing this?
About a week and a half.
Oh, wow.
I know, but
no, it's fine.
It
starts somewhere.
They say do a minute a day. I'm doing 15 minutes, 20 minutes in the afternoon usually when I get off work.
It's addictive, huh?
And then I do it before I go to sleep. I do 10 minutes when I'm laying in bed straight.
I fell asleep sitting up last night. You were telling me with the Dr. Andrew Weil, that it doesn't put you to sleep right away.
Well, that's
sometimes.
You sent me
that. Well, I
yeah.
do a whole thing. I do the breathing, and then I do the Wim Hof kind of breathing method, and then I do that, and then I just do another thing on that book at the end, the Breathe book. I think it's James Nestor.
I wrote it down. James Nestor.
James Nestor, and he said you should breathe in, and it should be through your nose about 5.5 seconds. And that's the optimum way to breathe. In 5.5 seconds, out 5.5 seconds. So what I've been doing is I take my phone and I go to the stopwatch, and then 5.5 is a little much for me, so I just try to do 5. But I mean, do that for 2 minutes and you get high. You get high as fuck. And I fell asleep sitting up, my legs crossed last night.
Wow.
I have tried the Stanislav Grof, the holotropic breathing.
Yeah.
Which is kind of the opposite of that. But that one, he goes into that too, where there's not really many rules. And that one is where I'm going to lean away for a second, but it's for an hour, 2 hours.
Yeah.
Straight.
You're basically hyper oxygenating yourself, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. And the creator of this was Stanislav Grof, who created it as a substitute for LSD when LSD was made illegal. And he swears it creates these altered states. And there's lots of people, there's videos of people doing it. James Nestor did not find it to be that way. He did document.
He said he lost time, kind of.
Yeah. There was a different state of mind, but he didn't have anything compared to an LSD trip. But
is that similar to the Wim Hof breathing method?
Well, the Tumo breathing is
that's what it's all kind of based off of, right? The Tumo breathing, which
it's the Tibetan idea of fire breathing.
Yeah.
And your right nostril is apparently the one that warms your body. So when you they recommend, James Nestor recommended before you eat to do cover your left nostril, do your several minutes of right nostril breathing, and it increases your metabolism.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say earlier, because from doing that, it said to breathe in one nostril, out the other nostril. I realized my left nostril is chronically plugged up. So
that's your creative side.
Yeah,
is that right?
The left side is the lady.
Because I can't remember. I already
Yeah, the
finished.
right
I
was
gotta
the
go
right
back.
was warming, left was creativity, and
The left was creative. So the left is what the schizophrenic lady was chronically breathing through the left side of her nose. So I'm opposite. So maybe I need to somehow swap them out.
but
I don't know how.
what they get at is it's actually a balance. You're
Yeah.
supposed to be using all of it, and your body actually will switch it naturally. But our American lifestyle, we're mouth breathers. So
Well, apparently, the more you breathe through your nose, it's kind of a use it or lose it kind of thing. So
The
when
muscle-
you only breathe through your
yeah.
mouth, your nose starts to close up. And so if you start only breathing through your nose, it actually widens, and there's a lot of muscles right there that actually like open up too.
So you
And
can
that's
train-
actually one of the few places after I think you're 35 where you can actually grow new bone. I think it is actually the only place.
why would you want more bone?
Well, I don't know. I mean,
Oh.
I guess to breathe better through your nose.
Okay.
Yeah, because you look at like, the skulls of like, ancient people, they have this huge nose.
Hmm.
It's like this really wide nose. Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Do you guys know if you snore at all? Do you have apnea?
Yeah, I snore.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that they've blamed that on smaller mouths, and you can get rid, or supposedly over time, diminish that by nose breathing intentionally.
Well, that's what I was
Yeah.
I was talking to Carlos the other day and about that, and because he has sleep apnea and he has to sleep with the CPAP machine,
Yeah, my wife.
and
My dad has one.
of them
but he
too.
said the way it works is you can't breathe through your mouth because the thing goes in your nose, so it kind of
Forces you.
Yeah. So it's like if you just taped, because actually
I'm going to start taping.
I did. It's funny too because when you wear a mask, you could go. I figured out you could just tape your mouth and nobody knows
At
it.
work.
So I started just taping my mouth at work.
James Nestor recommended that when you sleep at night, you put a little piece of tape to force yourself to nose breathe.
Really?
And he said you'll sleep better. If you have a trouble, do you wake up night and pee a lot? Are you thirsty? Taping your mouth, it sounds crazy. It's counterintuitive, but supposedly that sends triggers to your pituitary gland that creates a chemical, and then you get up and pee and you don't sleep.
And it causes
Properly.
erectile dysfunction.
That too, like all the above.
Seriously, the same chemical that's released by Viagra is released when you breathe through your nose.
It's your, it's a nitrate. It's one of the.
Is that it?
It's not the one. you're
Amyl
talking-
nitrate?
It's what's in beet juice.
Is it?
Yeah, it's one of those nitrates.
We'll go with amyl nitrate.
We'll go with that. Not quite that, but I don't know. So, do you think you're going to get your passport here pretty soon?
Absolutely.
What's the countdown?
Will be the beginning of the 5th week waiting. They actually told me 4 to 6 weeks, up to 8.
And they've had a big backlog because of the COVID thing.
Yeah, they shut down. They had like 30 offices. They shut down to 8 offices. So I had to send mine off to Texas. I couldn't get it revalidated here because there's no one that would do a renewal.
And did you expedite it, or did you do normal?
They won't expedite
Okay.
either unless it's a life and death situation,
Yeah.
which I don't think I could pull that one off.
So you kind of also, I'm using you as a guinea pig here because I'm considering this too.
Well, I use them
Yeah.
to see how they turned out, and
Okay.
I'm okay with it. I know my wife finally got interested in it.
Wow.
We got to talk about it the other night. Had a nice 2-3 hour chat about it, and the next day she went and applied for her passport. So
Wow.
I'm a guinea pig for her. I think if I don't come home too far out there, I think I could get her to go do it.
So I joke with him. He's after this experience, he's gonna
Become a yoga teacher?
Bernie. Yeah. We did agree that yoga pants were the second greatest invention after electricity, but
And hammocks.
but he's gonna sell a shotgun and like go vote Bernie Sanders or something after all this, like, and become a vegan. But
Never know. Never know.
But you're going to be the litmus test for this. And because Brenda gave me like 2 different flyers, like when we were having band practice, they were on my desk and I showed them to you and David. And like, it's been in our mind for years. So
She said she thought about it for 2 years before she actually went.
Mhm.
And the lady now, she sends her the little flyer on the phone all the time. And I'm waiting. If they have one for the end of the month, this month, I'm going to sign up for it, whether I have my passport or not. It's just
smuggle you down.
positive thinking that I'll have it.
Yeah.
But
I'm just worried about.
I think there's only so many. Oh, sorry.
No. Go ahead.
There's only so many people that go, or they sell out, or I'm not sure how.
How many people were there?
10 people, I'm thinking.
Okay.
The pictures I saw.
Those 10 people in the ceremony
Uh,
at the time.
And outdoor, I think they could have more outside because you're all. I'm comfortable with the outside right now.
How do you feel about the daytime as opposed to nighttime?
I'm okay with it.
Yeah. I wonder what the reasoning is for that.
I don't know. I really don't know I don't think it matters, right? Is it the drug or is it where the sun is?
I'm thinking because it's outside.
It's outside in the daylight.
Daytime is better. Maybe snakes ain't coming out as much, or
Yeah, I don't know.
You're going to Tecate, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I haven't tripped during the day very much, but I heard it's more positive in general. So maybe that's why.
My LSD microdoses have been all in the day because I can't fall asleep at night. Like I have to start way earlier.
You mean microdoses or macrodoses?
My munchie, yeah, my testing the product.
Did you ever test those?
Yes.
What
Jerry
was on
bears.
it? Oh yeah, the Jerry bears.
Jerry bears.
Oh, you never told me about
I didn't
that.
take the whole thing. I'm still chopping away at it.
Oh, so you're microdosing it.
Macrodosing because they were not a microdose the second time. The first time I took a quarter of a quarter, then I took a quarter, and it worked.
Just on a quarter, huh?
But I still get
It wasn't 12 hours.
I get anxious for like 8 or 10 hours. I just want to like move and move and move and move.
Yeah.
So
You gotta
What
commit.
is that?
LSD.
Okay.
I won a contest. I'll just leave it at that. I literally did win a contest. I'll tell you about it.
Awesome.
And
I want to enter.
I think I got 5 tabs.
It was a raffle.
Yeah, it was a raffle. And it was
Different times.
the Jerry Bear, the Grateful Dead Jerry Bears.
Yeah.
And it was in a little plastic bag, and it got shipped to me, and then it looked like it moved around like 3 times. So it was like a little rectangle, and I could see in the bag like residue and shit. So I'm like, fucking A,
That's
like
a good
what?
sign.
Like what? This is like dipped in something. And so I took half of a quarter, and didn't feel anything, which would have been around 10 micrograms if it's a 100-gram blotter. But I got up to a quarter, and I'm like, dude, I'm tripping. So I don't think I could even have handled it. I'm weak. I'm fucking weak.
Yeah, but you have been able to trip by yourself more than, I mean,
That's
for
what I
me-
mean, though.
For me, I mean, I'll take MDMA by myself and maybe throw in a little bit of mushrooms and maybe some acid on there. Nice thing about
Cocktail there, huh?
Joe.
no, at the same time, but nice thing about MDMA, you can kind of gauge it a little bit. I don't know if you've ever taken that, but
I have not.
yeah, when you mix it with either, separately, obviously, but with either LSD or mushrooms, you could kind of, because the more MDMA you take, it'll actually kind of bring you down a little bit if you're kind of having a bad trip. So I always felt more
MDMA is
comfortable.
ecstasy.
Oh,
Yeah.
You were saying you suggested maybe
Yeah,
I should try it.
I believe you should try that.
For me, that's probably been the most healing out of all of them, probably. And just being able to be by myself and like go through stuff. But you've been able to just take full blown macro doses by yourself. And I've always been kind of,
I like
I don't
being
think I would do
being
that.
by myself, but not to the extreme levels. Because I did take that 2 grams of mushrooms one time and like almost lost my shit. Like I had to take all my like clothes off because I thought it was overheating, and I thought it was coming up way too fast. I turned in all my fans, pointed all my fans, turned on like relaxation music, breathing,
Anya,
breathing,
Anya.
Wow.
breathing, and then I'm like, okay, it stopped because I thought it was just like on a rocket launch. Like when
Wow.
it like I was my trajectory just seemed like I can't get fucking higher than this. Like, come on, I only took this much, and then it leveled off.
It's your house, man. It is. Every time we've tripped at this guy's, because I think it's the elevation or something. It's just like, whoa.
I had a guy come work on my well. This kid that grew up in Anza, and just total like fried desert kid. And my dad walked away, and we were talking about because we could smell weed. And one of my neighbors is growing weed right now, and
One of them. How about
Yeah.
all of them?
That's why they live there. Huh?
we talked about the marijuana Mondays, and I'm like, you work on wells. I bet you bust a lot of fucking
Wait.
shit.
Marijuana Mondays?
Yeah, the county of Riverside has declared it Marijuana Mondays, and there's guaranteed every Monday there's a bust.
Do they say, it looks like somebody's having a case of the Mondays?
They guarantee a bust?
The sheriff of Riverside coined the term Marijuana Mondays, and he loves, like if you look at every Monday, you can almost guarantee that they raided somebody. But this kid was telling me, he's like, he rolls up on so many illegal grows. But then he told me, like, about 15 miles from my house, in between my house and Hemet, there's a place called Farbo Ranch. And that was a legendary ranch where Timothy Leary retreated after he was going to go to jail. And the Moody Blues recorded a song there. And I don't remember the name of the song, but when I looked it up online, it mentioned that, and it's a beautiful LSD compound.
Well, that was owned, but it was the Brotherhood of
the Eternal Brotherhood of the Sunshine.
Well, there was the kind of hippie mafia. I'm sure it's like Brotherhood of Eternal Love, and they were the original. They were the distributors of Sunshine Acid, and so they call them the hippie mafia. And they were actually apparently like the reason why the DEA was formed in the first place was to go after these guys.
That was the big raid pretty much at the end of the hippie revolution.
Yeah,
right.
They actually started, the movie Endless Summer, the surfer movie.
Yeah.
That whole movie was the whole movie was just a front. They were smuggling hash in those surfboards. And that's actually where they got their start, was smuggling hash. And then
No way.
That was before
Really?
LSD. Yeah. That was the hippie mafia.
Never knew that. Oh, this is awesome.
Well,
and then apparently they got hip to it, and there was a lot of busted surfboards that were needlessly busted up after that.
Hey, man.
they're searching. They're looking. So hopefully in a month or so, I'd love to hear from you again.
Well, you're gonna.
And then ask if they got room for some more gringos down there.
Sure they do.
They just want our money, right? Like, what is this costing? Do you mind?
I think ayahuasca is 120. And I think with the Campbell, it's 180. Rape and Campbell's like together.
They didn't offer any 5-MeO, like the toad? That would have been, the smoking the toad?
That
5-MeO DMT.
nothing I'm aware of. They do a Yopo, though. You could request a Yopo.
What if Brenda told me she got something blasted and she started punching her face?
That was a rape.
Okay. What was that?
It was.
It hurt her head or something?
Yeah, she said it went to work on her brain. And she said she had punched her head, is what she said.
And that was the DMT one?
No, she took rape, but then her friend took the Yopo and blacked out or something.
Yeah, so she's scared of Yopo.
And Ricardo is just like, cool, like, right? She told me Ricardo just took it.
No problem. Frog.
So which one's like the DMT one they blow up your nose?
Yopo.
That's Yopo. And the rape is the tobacco?
Yeah.
It looks like you could buy this online.
You can buy rape online. And it's just the serum. Remember you would light the sage and the tobacco?
Yeah.
And kind of
when we used to do DMT at his old house, we would do we'd get not cigarette smoke, but we couldn't find what's the hachuma? Is that what they call it?
The wachuma? That's San Pedro.
No, the tobacco that they smoke down in the Amazon. I think it's hachuma or something like that. Anyways, it's like a specific blend of tobacco, but that's what they do is they blow it on your head.
I've seen that.
It's supposed to be like for your crown chakra or something like that. Yeah. Or it's like a blessing. So we were doing that with pipe tobacco, but
use what you got.
Yeah.
Make it work. But yeah, so I look forward to this experience, Joe, and I hope for the best, man.
You too.
So thanks for coming out today.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Much appreciated.
Cool.
Always fun.